And welcome to another Game News Roundup. Well, after the speculation and this stuff of basically Microsoft saying, yeah, no game is going to be behind a wall, behind a fence, anything is fair game of coming out on PlayStation or Nintendo, and, well, here we are a couple days later, a week later, and, yeah, Xbox and Playground Games have announced the open-world racing game Forza Horizon 5 is coming to the PlayStation 5 this spring. What's the exact release date? We don't know yet. Spring could be April, May, June. But yeah, it is available on the... You go on the PlayStation Store. You can wishlist it already. It is available. So yeah, Playground Games. This spring, the Horizon Festival arrives on PlayStation 5. Start your adventure with cross-play on all platforms. So yeah, the game will feature cross-play with Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, and PC. And yes, the game is available on the Xbox One, but it is not coming to PS4. So if you are a PS4 gamer, sorry, you are SOL. It is not coming to PS4, but it is coming to PS5 specifically. And honestly, this here is speculation for me. I don't have any insider information. I would not be surprised if Forza Horizon 5 also comes out on the Nintendo Switch 2. I would not be surprised if that happens. If you're going to come out on PS5, why not release it on the Switch too? Maybe as a launch title or sometime after launch, especially since they say spring 2025 without giving us a exact release date. Maybe they're waiting on Nintendo to give a release date for the Switch too, but then again, it might not come out this spring. Who knows? Although Nintendo obviously knows, but you know. So yeah, the PS5 version of Forza Horizon 5 is being developed by Panic Button in partnership with Turn 10 Studios and Playground Games. It will feature all of the same content as the Xbox and PC versions of the game, and the Hot Wheels and Rally Adventure expansion packs, as well as previously released car packs, will also be available for purchase for anyone who is interested. So yeah, after 3.5 years, the game is coming to PS5. Basically feels like anything could come to PlayStation 5 or future PlayStation consoles from Xbox or Nintendo or whatever. At this point, I wouldn't be surprised. The biggest question, I guess, at this point, I mean, I'm expecting a Halo Master Chief Collection and or Halo Infinite to come to PS5 and maybe even Switch 2 later this year as well. And maybe even Gears wouldn't be surprised if those make their way. But the biggest question mark is, of these big Xbox IPs, Forza Horizon 5 is coming out 3.5 years later on PS5. Is Forza Horizon 6 going to be Xbox and PC only at launch and then later come to PS5/PS6? Or will it be day and date on the PS5? If it is day and date on the PS5, basically, yeah. There'll be nothing in the way of even time exclusives I would see in the future. But who knows? Who knows? I'm sure Microsoft is still working out what is the best course of action. They want to increase their profits and their revenue, and the best way to do it is to release their games on more platforms and sell more copies of their games. So, yeah, also, Forza Horizon 5 will also be getting one final new free content update on all platforms called Horizon Realms. It will give the players, anyone who's playing the game, the chance to play a collection of some of the community's favorite previously released evolving worlds alongside other surprises. So yeah, the game came out in November 2021 for the Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, and PC. Obviously, and Xbox Game Pass, of course. And it is, as I've been mentioning, it is what I would think is at this point the second biggest racing franchise. Forza Horizon specifically, the Forza Horizon series, not Forza Motorsport, which is not nearly as big, but considering the game had topped 40 million players in July of 2024, and it's probably 42, 43, 44 million players at this point in time, now that we are in January, nearly February 2025. When I say the second biggest, if you're wondering, like, okay, well, then what's bigger than that, then? Mario Kart 8. Mario Kart is probably, I always say, it's probably the biggest the biggest racing franchise. With, what, over 60 million copies sold on the Switch alone? Just imagine how big Mario Kart would be if it was also on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. Obviously, Nintendo's not going to do that. Nintendo's probably going to be the last one to release any of their games on other platforms. Not excluding, like, Pokemon Go, the Pokemon trading card game that they have on their phone now, or Mario Run. But, like, their full-fledged games coming out on other platforms, I don't see that happening at least anytime soon. They'll be the last to do it. As Xbox, obviously, games have been day and date on PC since, 2017, 2018? Something like that. And now they're releasing games, and more and more of their games now coming on PlayStation and Nintendo. PlayStation is releasing more and more of their games on PC. Some we're starting to see day and date on PC, or you're seeing it coming to PC sooner than in the past. With Spider-Man 2 actually coming out today on PC about, 15-ish months after it came out on the PS5? Well, previously, PlayStation was saying 2 to 3 years before games would make their way to PC, but 15 months? That gap is shrinking. And also, obviously, it's totally not owned by PlayStation, but Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and Rise of Ronin are coming to PC or in the next few months or so. But yeah, biggest news, Forza Horizon 5 headed to PS5 this spring. Again, why are they doing this? Profits. Profitability. In yesterday, there was a big clue, a big hint from Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella in Microsoft's earnings call with investors. But first things first, before we go into what he said, in their earnings report for the October to December quarter, Xbox gaming revenue did drop 7% compared to the previous year to about $6.58 billion, which was actually in line with their previous forecast for the quarter, which was a decline in the high single digits, and 7% is that. And then Xbox content and services, which includes Xbox Game Pass and software sales, increased 2% compared to the same quarter a year ago, which was actually driven by growth in Xbox Game Pass. This is actually slightly better than their forecast, which was expected sales to be flat. And Xbox, here's the big thing, Xbox hardware revenue fell 29% compared to the previous year, which obviously means Xbox console sales are down by a similar percentage, maybe even slightly more percentage, because the deals actually weren't as good as the previous year. But one of the things here about this, Microsoft in the past, Sony, I'm sure I'm surprised now they still do, when they release a video game console, they lose a lot of money for each console sold. $100, $200, maybe even more dollars for each console sold, and the hope is to sell enough software, have enough people subscribe to Xbox Game Pass or PlayStation Plus for long enough to turn a profit in a year or two from these hardware sales. And obviously the other hope is that the price of parts that they purchase for the consoles comes down, which is we're not really seeing like we have in the past. Which is why the Xbox Series X is still $500, the Series S is still $300. The PS5 actually has gone up in price. The standard, at least in the US, the disc drive version is still $500, but the digital edition went up from $400 to $450, and the PS5 Pro is $700. And the Nintendo Switch has yet to see an actual price cut, despite being 8 years old, or nearly 8 years old at this point. So yeah, and then Microsoft as a whole reported revenue was up 23% to nearly $70 billion, and net income, basically profits, were up 10%. $24 billion in profits. Basically, in 9 months, in 3 quarters of these profits is basically what they spent on Activision Blizzard in 9 months, which is crazy. But as I was trying to say before, Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella, referring to gaming specifically, he said, "We are focused on improving the profitability of the gaming business in order to position it for long-term growth driven by higher margin content and platform services, and we are delivering on this plan." Higher margin content and platform services. Improving profitability. I've mentioned in the past, as I was like kind of speculation and whatever, Xbox, I don't see the next Xbox being sold at a loss, at least at a major loss, where they're going to lose $100, $200 plus dollars. I also expect there to be 2 different Xbox consoles or whatever next generation. The generation's not really much like it used to be in the past. Do I think it's gonna be like the Xbox Series X and S? No, I expect a bigger difference between the two. I expect a home console that's gonna be sold either at a profit, or maybe where they break even, or maybe a very tiny loss. maybe for $500-$600. As well as, instead of a Series S, I'm expecting a handheld. Not a phone handheld. I'm just too lazy to go grab my Switch. Basically, something like the Switch or Steam Deck for $500, sold at a small profit, or about even, or maybe a small loss at launch. With obviously Xbox OS, you have access to your full Game Pass library, your full library of Xbox games, backwards compatibility, and all that stuff. And of course, as I've mentioned before, what I personally, this is my speculation, because they have been talking about how they like the Steam Deck, they like these Rogue Allies, these portable Windows devices that are more open. I wouldn't be surprised if the next Xbox is a more open device. So it's not just the Xbox. Obviously, Xbox will be the main focus on it, but you have the ability to install Steam and play all of your Steam games on the next Xbox. I would not be surprised if that's what they do, which if they do that, that also means the console / if they do the handheld would likely be sold at a minimum, basically break even, or a very small profit for each one sold. Because there are people who might just buy it and just use it to access to their Steam games, and then boom, they don't make any money off of software stuff, even if they're trying to push Game Pass on it. Or their other own games. And then like with the Steam Deck, I expect something like for the handheld version, a checkmark, a verified of, hey, a game will actually run on this. And you have more openness, which is kind of like, which is what I'd hope. Even though that is more niche, I'm expecting Xbox in the future. I mean, who knows? Maybe something like that would blow up. But, for $500, which I wouldn't be surprised is how much it would cost. I'm expecting the future Xboxes, the next Xboxes to not be selling 40, 50, 60 million, or, the 360, which sold, 85, 86-ish million units lifetime. The Xbox One actually sold about 58 million lifetime. The Series X and S is maybe going to get to around 40 million lifetime, depending on when the next Xbox launches. But I'm expecting the Xbox to be more for more hardcore gamers, more niche, maybe selling 20, 30, maybe 40 million tops over the course of, 6-7 years or so. How do they grow their profits? Releasing all of their games on PlayStation. Nintendo, obviously they're already day and date on PC. That's how you grow your profits. You can release their games on all platforms. The question is, are they going to be all day and date on is everything going to be day and date on PlayStation and Nintendo in the future? We shall see. But with Forza Horizon 5 coming to the PC, for the PC, to the PlayStation 5, we're likely to see more games day and date on PlayStation and Nintendo in the future. Satya Nadella also mentioned Call of Duty Black Ops 6 was the best-selling game on Xbox and PlayStation in the last quarter, the October to November quarter, and saw more players in its launch quarter than any other paid release in franchise history. Mind you, the game was available on Game Pass day one on Xbox and PC. He also went on to mention, obviously, the other big first-party game from Xbox was Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, which he mentioned had rave reviews. And he did reveal Indiana Jones and the Great Circle has surpassed 4 million players. Mind you, the game came out like a month ago. It came out early December. So in like a month and a half, depending on the date of where he's talking about these number of players, it's top 4 million players. The game is available on Xbox and PC. And it's coming to PlayStation 5 this spring. I don't think we have an actual release date for it yet. He also mentioned we also continue to see strong momentum for Xbox cloud gaming, with a record 140 million hours streamed this quarter. And Game Pass set a new quarterly record for revenue, which is not a huge surprise because the price of Game Pass did go up. So, of course, you have the same number of subscribers, revenue will go up. But the big key here is the subscriber base for Game Pass on PC grew by over 30% in the last quarter. So, we don't know how many subscribers there were beforehand. But 30% increase in one quarter is a good boost, probably driven by Call of Duty being available on it. It's my guess. And potentially Indiana Jones. People interested want to play Indiana Jones, they subscribe to Game Pass or whatever. For the next quarter, so for the quarter ending March 31st, so January, February, March, the forecast for Microsoft for Xbox is they do expect Xbox revenue to actually grow in the low single digits percentage year on year. So they're expecting overall Xbox revenue to grow single digits, being 1%, 2%, 3%. Is probably what that means, maybe 4% tops. And Xbox content services, they expect to grow in the low to mid single digits. So anywhere from like 1 to 6, maybe 7% is low to mid single digits for Xbox content and services, which is basically software sales, Game Pass, microtransactions, expansions, DLC sales, and stuff like that. And they expect it to be driven by first-party content and Xbox Game Pass. Although first-party content-wise, obviously Indiana Jones, Forza are coming to PlayStation, though they're not coming till next quarter. So, what is this first-party content? I know we have Avowed coming out. And I'm guessing, I guess it also could be the fact that Call of Duty Black Ops 6 is doing better than Modern Warfare 3 did last year, so they might see some bigger growth that way. And obviously continued growth in the Xbox Game Pass for more subscribers than there were a year ago, and obviously more revenue because they have got more people subscribed to it. And hardware revenue, their prediction is to continue to decline, which is not a big surprise. Xbox Series X and S, according to our estimates on VG charts, sold about 5 million in 2024, which is not a lot, to say the least. But as I was saying, I'm expecting Xbox to become more, you say, third-party, but I do see Xbox hardware staying, just not being as big, not competing, as you would say, as much with PlayStation or Nintendo. But obviously Xbox is broadening the horizons by releasing their games on as many platforms as they can. As I've said, even PlayStation is doing that with releasing more and more of their games on PC, and even that Lego Horizon game was day and date on the Nintendo Switch. But yeah, the big news, Forza Horizon 5 coming to PS5 this spring, 2025. So yeah, a bit of what's happening, my speculation, which is some of it's coming true, and then my other speculation of what I see happening with Xbox in the future. Their hardware being a little more niche, being sold at a profit for $500-600, and I expect some type of handheld. But anyways, I think that's enough of me rambling on. So yeah, if you enjoy this video, as always, be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. Otherwise, yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Have a great evening, and I'll see you all next time for some more gaming news, gaming sales, and gaming industry information.